It's the OCGFAM show. Today we're talking about whether or not you can use Olympus Up for alkalinity. Hey, we just talked about that. Nope, I've got more information. Hey there! Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCGFAM show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show. Right now, let's just get into the show. So, just a few days ago, we did an episode where people were asking, hey, can you use Olympus Up to treat your water to bring that alkalinity up? And basically the answer was no, because you'd have to bring it down, and to bring it down, you'd mess it up to bring it. We talked about it. It was pretty simple, but that same question was asked a little later in that viewer questions episode for whatever reason. Pretty much the same question. And when we answered at that time, when Scott answered at that time, he got a lot deeper into it. I wish I'd used that clip instead of the clip I used the day before, because this one's a lot more in-depth on that maybe, but more than that, it goes into talking about treating the soil and the larger issue of alkalinity, I felt, and I thought it was an interesting thing that might help us all with our growing. So, I want you to watch it, and then I'll talk to you after. Jesse Workman. Hey Scott and Bob, I have a question. Why can't we pre-treat water with calcium carbonate in Olympus Up to increase alkalinity? I have consistent problems with low pH slurry causing issues. I ordered the meter to test my water, but plants need help now. Thanks. The same thing we talked about a little bit ago.
It is, but now with folks like this, what I've been doing is looking in their region, and Jesse, feel free to email me, thebeard@organsonly.com, thebeard@organsonly.com. We'll look in your region for this pelleted limestone, because what's happening, even if you build up your water with the alkalinity of Olympus Up, which it would, that's, you know, great idea.
Yeah.
However, now your pH can be too high, and then reacting and back and forth with acids is only going to destroy your alkalinity, your pH, your foods, all the things. But by building the alkalinity back in your potting soil, and this is where, like Pig, before we got to all this from, and I just keep going back to Pig, but he was adding, going into bloom in number 4, which comes out of the bag at 6.9 to 7.1 pH, after 40 days of sitting there. He'll add another cup and a half per 10 gallons, or no, cup and a half per 20 gallons of pot of Calpro into his soil, so that way 3 to 4 weeks into bloom, it'll still be 6.4, 6.5. And so with this, what's going to happen, you build all that into your water, so now the alkalinity's there, now you adjust it with a bunch of food, get your pH right. The soil is going to want to steal the alkalinity, but you didn't get it up high enough, unfortunately, to have it leave a reserve behind for the potting soil to absorb it out of the nutrition and build it back into the soil. So your pH is going to continuously dump until we build it back into the potting soil. We're actually entertaining right now building an entire soil blend with high alkalinity in mind for folks who don't want to go through the calcite chargers, the filters, the meters, and all that, but just building in for low alkalinity regions. Here's the potting soil we'd recommend. It would probably come with a starting charge of like a 7.5 pH, but the alkalinity would be like 200 in the bag. So we're messing around with a few different recipes. Pig's going to do some test runs because he's a great resource for us there.
Would you have to recharge that soil each time? Or to some extent?
Oh yeah, you have Calpril. I mean, limestone, once it reacts to low pH water, it's dissolving and disappearing in the soil. So guys who are recycling their soil, they're finding that if they have if their water has a low pH and no alkalinity, and they're recycling their soil after this first, second, third round, depending on how low their alkalinity is, it draws all the oyster shell out, all the limestone out, all the carbonates out, and leaves a lower pH soil. So actually, matter of fact, I'm dealing with a farm up in New England, great farm, Junction Farm. They won our Christmas thing once. That's her little badger. I know. She had that same issue. She got into the industry. What's that say?
Scott, this is
Laney badger?
Laney badger.
When you need a giggle. She's a sweetheart, this woman. And she's a badass grower, and she does it for the kids. So all these things that make us love this person. However, she got in the industry, had nothing but abuse as far as getting into the industry, completely destroyed by generator companies and lighting companies, blah, blah, blah. When she finally got her farm going, because the industry says, get RO system, everybody needs RO. Well, what she found was she got to torture plants for almost a year, because she's on a budget, she's very you know, not frugal, but she has to be because she needs to stay somewhat profitable so she can buy more material to you know, supply. And she does meds for cheap for people who need them. She's not a big greedy grower. She's got a low
margin. She's trying to...
Yeah, and she's doing it for the right reason. So bless her heart, she's busting her ass, and then she's trying to recycle her soil because, you know, we've said on the show 1,000 times, the soil gets better the more you recycle it. Unless you have no alkalinity, then you're literally creating acidic nightmares for yourself for the rest of your life because her soil now is so acidic. And every time she tries to recycle it, the pH keeps going down into the low 5s, and then her flowering cycles just terminate. So we finally started going, okay, we'll get her calprol, some micronal limestone. We got all the alkalinity back in, and then she just unplugged her RO system and started pulling out of her well. Her well water was perfectly fine this whole time. But the industry dictates how you think and what you do. Like the world. We all told how to think and what to do, so then we all walk around with our head up each other's asses. She pulled her head out of the other person's ass and said, oh, look at my water. It's 120 parts per million out of the well. Ding, ding, ding. Game changer. Now she's going to be able to recycle soil and make this thing work a little bit better.
So when we were thinking, and still think, that the soil that you can recycle, it's because it would take those microbes forever to eat all that bone meal that's in there. But there's a chemical reaction that's making the calcium, all these things just...
Well, it goes into the plant. It's not washing away. It's literally being absorbed to react to go into the plant to make the food work. Alkalinity is like, I mean, pigs talked about the throttle of chaos. Well, this stuff is the nitrous. I mean,
it's a chemical reaction that makes this available.
It goes, hey, stomatas, open up and take it all in, and that's it. If you have good alkalinity and your pH is correct and you're feeding them the right foods, it all goes in. Like he's saying, I'm doubling my feeds right now because I am pushing them so hard, and with my alkalinity where it is, I can push them harder than I've ever been able to push. So once we figure out everybody's space and what they're dealing with their water sources is, this is why it's not a cookie cutter situation. Hers is totally different than everybody else's situation. It's just listening to the customer, listening to the grower, and going, all right, here's my 1,000 questions, and one of your answers is going to give us the big picture of what we need to do. And so back to that is, yes, you can do that. The downfall is that it probably is going to be an imbalance over time.
Okay.
So find some, email me again. Jesse, email me. We'll look in your region. There's pelleted limestone. It's cheap as hell. It will go back in your potting soil, and you'll build the alkalinity in, so your water will pull the alkalinity from the limestone, not the soil.
Okay. Okay. What do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful? Are y'all digging into this alkalinity thing? Are you digging the content we're doing about it? Have you messed with it at all? Is it not an issue for you? Let's talk about that, and also the bigger issue of alkalinity, or anything else at all that you'd like to talk about. We'll do that tomorrow. I love you, and I'll see you then. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. Hey, I think that's pretty good. I'll see you tomorrow.